Guys, I'm back sooner than anticipated with more new Astarion dialogue, and where there's new Astarion stuff, you know your girl's not going to be far behind. Even though technically I am still pretty far behind because I've spent a lot of time working on videos and streaming a couple nights too, but taking it slow so I don't miss anything, it's not such a bad thing, right? Well, actually I wish I was farther ahead, but this is just what I'm working with. Still, I finally made it to the camp celebration, and I was so happy to find there was something new from Astarion, a whole new dialogue that completely replaces the old one where he complained about his crappy wine. I have to say I like this one more, and there's a ton of variation to it as well. This is the last chance to turn back for those who are wanting to avoid spoilers. So here's the first set of choices I made, and then we're going to go over it afterwards. Plus, I'll show you some of the other branches as well. Let's dig in.
Here's my little treat with their cheeks all flushed. You will come to my bed tonight, won't you? Oh, I certainly can. It would be my pleasure. How about this one? All these accolades from the tieflings are nothing compared to the sound of my name, cried from your lips. Let me give it another go. Every part of your perfect body whispers temptation. It's as if the gods made you just to ruin me. I can go all night with the flattery. But is that really all you want? How about if I said these little words? Everyone's favorite. I love you. But rather beautiful lie, nonetheless. Now, as much as I relish standing around and saying all my favorite lines at you, I'd much rather we got to experience each other's full portfolio of talents once again. I'll be waiting.
Whew, so where do I even start? I loved this entire dialogue. Imagine him just calling you out on your flushed cheeks and asking expectantly if you're going to join him tonight. That line alone about made me die, but then it got better. In the old dialogue, most of you know I always like to ask him to say please. I don't know, there's just something enjoyable and playful about, beating Astarion at his own game and making him go that extra mile. And this dialogue doesn't disappoint in that same vein. I was instantly drawn to the line that he could do better than just calling me his little treat. Maybe because I'm a brat? I wasn't sure if he was going to play along, but then he actually did. And even though by now it feels like we're just having a bit of a verbal joust here, it was still a very good choice of words because now I can't think of anything but what might be happening when Astarion's name is cried from Tav's lips. I wasn't satisfied with just that, though. Nope, I had to keep giving him shit because, that's just how I am. I kept expecting him to get mad here, frustrated with me for pushing him, but he didn't, and that made the scene even better. Okay, so the next line here, though, about my perfect body and being sent by the gods to ruin him was laid on a little thick. It's pretty clear by now that we're just messing around. I can't imagine anyone would say something like that and be serious. I mean, I guess they could, but by now it's gone from less of a, ooh, you're smooth, to a, wow, you're a saucy little man, aren't you, Astarion? Still, I'm enjoying it. It felt like the best choice here was to say, and what else? So that's what I went with. And finally, he's like, damn girl, how much is enough for you? And the answer is no amount. Nothing is ever enough. But then I was completely floored that he was ballsy enough to go where he went next. Guys, he said, I love you.
I love you.
And for a moment, I was completely flabbergasted. Like, what? But it was in that way where you kind of hope something is true, but you also know it isn't. Like the part of me that has been fangirling for 3 years over Astarion died a wonderful death and went off to Valhalla. But the part of me that was playing Tav in the moment was like, you're full of shite, lad. And that's okay. Like, I actually liked the dialogue so much because it shows a side of Astarion that we haven't really seen. It's more candid. Like, he's being direct about who he is, and I'm cool with that. Given everything I just said, it's pretty obvious I'd pick the "you'd be lying" option. And his response was epic. That little cackle. I love that laugh, by the way. And he's like, oh, but it's a beautiful lie. I was laughing too because it's not like I fell for it. It certainly didn't hurt my feelings. So he reins it back in and turns to other things such as full portfolios of talents once again, and that's that. But there are some other really awesome branches I wanted to show you here too that I think bring out more of his character. For instance, if you choose the line, "you don't have to ask twice," he seems to lay it on even more thick. Let me show you what I mean.
I'm amazed you managed to keep your mind clear enough to fight. I've been thinking about our last night together ceaselessly. I'll be in quite a spot of mortal peril if you let me keep distracting myself dreaming instead of doing. We can't have that, can we? It would be very dangerous.
It's funny how he completely skips all the compliments on this branch and instead talks about how he hasn't been able to stop thinking about you, saying he's thought about your first night together ceaselessly. It's also funny how this whole line comes off sounding a lot more serious, and it could be he wants you to think that he's serious here, or that maybe he is a little more when you don't play hard to get. Like maybe he actually gets a little more serious. You know, it's hard to say at this point, but it's definitely an interesting side path. There's still so many other choices though, and you know I had to see them all. I had to know what would happen if you started to play it more negatively, as if you weren't buying into him at all, you know, playing hard to get. So I went back and I picked very presumptuous. I'm undecided what I'll do tonight. Ooh, sassy Tav. Let's see what he says.
Ah, you need a bit of enticing. Let me see.
A little disappointing. He says we need enticing and goes into the same compliments he did the first time around. But later on in the conversation, I picked an option to ask, did these really work on Cazador's targets? To which I got a really good reply.
Well, they worked on you last time, didn't they?
I about died. You saucy little turnip, you. Then when he said I love you, I picked having fun, are you? And this is what he said.
I am. It's hard not to with you.
I do enjoy these interactions. I'm the one having all the fun, darling. There's one more that I really liked too. It's the final response to I love you. If you choose the option, it's too soon, don't you think?
Well, it can be true. If only for tonight.
I'm such a sap, but this is such a nice thought. It's almost romantic, even though it toys with the very idea of someone saying they don't actually love you. Wait a second. I think I just confused myself. Well, anyway, I've saved the best dialogue for last, because sometimes when you shut someone down completely, it can be the most telling. So let me show you what happens when you tell them you think it's better as a once-off and no more between the two of you.
Well. Excuse me while I die of a broken heart. In all honesty, it's a shame. That time was special to me. I've gotten on my back 10,000 times or more and forgotten half of them. But you, I'll remember. Have a fine evening, dear.
Now, wouldn't you think getting shut down would be wounding to his ego, that he'd get pissed? I was very surprised by what he said. It still comes off as a bit of a lie when he exaggerates about his broken heart. You know, like when someone's pretending something you said didn't just bother them when it actually did. But there's also something serious and sad in his eyes. And all of the dialogue you can get from this scene, it seems to be the most compelling, you know? It also gives you quite the insight into his past, talking about some 10,000 past times he's done it and how he's forgotten half of them. I guess that means that you're 1 in 5,000? See, I do have a chance. And it seems pretty sincere when he says that he'll remember you and at the very least very civil to wish us a fine evening even after all of that. Oh, I almost forgot though, there is a small extra snippet of dialogue when you actually go to bed and meet up with him. Let's take a look at that before I wrap this whole scene up.
I hoped you would come. I have missed you. And now you're all mine. And I'm all yours. Until morning, at least. Let's see where the night takes us.
Astarion still seems a bit playful here, not really laying his smooth on as much as I'd like, but it's okay. I mean, he's basically already won me over at this point, so he doesn't have to try too hard anymore. I will say it was a little disappointing that there wasn't an extra scene here. I would have been perfectly fine with even a quick kiss like they used to do in Origins, but still, I'm happy with the dialogue we got for the whole thing, and that it was all brand spanking new. Now, after going through everything, all of this, you might think that Astarion isn't that serious about his relationship with Tav. Still, I'd like to think that Astarion has a fire burning in there somewhere for Tav. I don't feel like they've reached that point of actually being in love, for sure, but I feel like it could definitely get there. Astarion just strikes me like that type of guy who desperately wants to be in love, but has used honks and attraction as a tool for so long, and even been used as a tool himself for so long, that he's forgotten what being cared for by someone really means. Maybe he's never even experienced it at all in his life, and Tav will not just be his first blood, but also his first love. I know there's a bunch of stuff I haven't seen yet with him in the game, and that I get overly excited with all of this new dialogue, but I know I'm in good company and a lot of you are echoing my sentiments, except for the people who keep leaving spoiler comments on my videos and acting like I have no clue that Astarion is a bit of a playboy. I'm just going to make it clear for those who don't know me well enough. I know he's lying to me, at least for now, and this scene basically proves that. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy the game, though. In fact, I love the games we play. It is a beautiful lie. And I'll be damned if I'm not going to find a way to make all of these games a reality. I just hope I'm not proven wrong as I get deeper into the story. Still, I think I can win him over. For the moment, though, it doesn't change the fact that even when Astarion is playing with you, that it's so smooth and delicious. So I really wish people would stop being such butts about it. And seriously, stop leaving spoiler comments. I'm probably not even going to be looking at comments anymore because it's too risky. I've already read stuff I don't want to. With that said, I look forward to you all joining me on my quest to woo our favorite vampire companion, Astarion. I'm just now headed into Act 2, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, as there is going to be a huge slew of new BG3 content coming out over the next few months, possibly years. I mean, there's a lot. Thanks to my Patreons for the support, and if you'd like to help support the channel too and get access to the private Discord and a whole other chunk of content on Patreon, then head over and make a pledge. I'll see you guys later.